Somali loyalist Ilhan Omar calls for a gun registry, Hawaii vampire rule, and our special guests, John Petrolino and Charlie Cook. Welcome to the Loaded Mic Christmas special. When we talk to gun owners and we ask them why gun ownership is so important, the answer is always attached to good intent. In other words, many gun owners will say something like, I want a gun so I can protect my life and defend the lives of the people I love. Often gun owners will tout statistics like those from defensive gun use studies and proudly declare that guns are used millions of times every year to stop acts of violence. Gun owners typically speak this way about gun ownership because they truly believe that guns are good. When our intentions are noble and moral, we tend to believe others are the same. So why is it that when we ask an anti-gunner about guns, we typically get a completely different type of answer? They'll often say guns should be banned because they're used for killing people. They'll say things like, the only reason someone needs an AR-15 is for killing a lot of people at once, or anyone who carries a gun in public is just looking for the chance to shoot someone. So what's the difference between the gun owner's perspective and the left-wing anti-gunner? The gun owner or pro-gun advocate sees firearms as a tool to save lives. The anti-gunner sees firearms as a tool to take lives. Therefore, the anti-gunner doesn't want you, or anyone else for that matter, to have a firearm. They're projecting onto others. Pro-gun advocates do the same thing. Yes, we project as well, but the difference is that the pro-gun advocate will see a handgun on the hip of a fellow gun owner and will assume that they're in good company and likely much safer by simply being around that fellow gun owner. One person sees guns as a tool to save lives and the other sees them as a tool to take lives. It's all a reflection of what's going on in the mind of the observer. How the anti-gunner comes to believe the things they do stems from a long history of anti-gun propaganda and media conditioning implemented upon them for the purpose of getting them to support gun control legislation. So here's the dirty little secret the anti-gun crowd doesn't want you to know. The anti-gunner doesn't trust you with a gun because they don't trust themselves with a gun. And it's no surprise as to why. They've been indoctrinated. They've been conditioned over a long period of time to see guns as dangerous, scary devices owned strictly for the purpose of taking lives. So we're going to talk about this and many other things with, when he's not dashing through the snow, he's decking the halls with boughs of holly. John Chiara. And some people say he lacks Christmas spirit. We like to call it holiday adverse. Anthony Diso. And our very special guest from Massachusetts, where the Second Amendment is measured by the feelings of whiny Democrats in the state legislature, he is the host of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, Charlie Cook. And from New Jersey, where politicians think the Second Amendment means you're allowed to watch other people skeet shoot on TV. Journalist and director for Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms and editor-in-chief of the Square Reviews, John Petrolino. That was good, right?
Took you all day to write those.
Oh, man. All right. So, guys, welcome to the Christmas special. As always, this is the best time of year.
It's a pleasure to be here. Our fourth annual.
Yeah, this is great, man. I always look forward to this.
Yeah,
This is always a good time getting together with you guys.
Well, John figured out that it was our fourth one. I couldn't remember exactly how many we've done, but yeah, this is the fourth one.
I say for next year we get an RV and we take the show on the road. I mean,
Charlie can drive.
Charlie can drive. Yeah. Danny can yell at us from the back, and it'll be great.
Yeah, just so people know, Danny Wass Jr. is our producer, and we've given him a heck of a time today, just getting this thing set up.
Today.
His patience. He's got patience, though, doesn't he? He's starting to put his adult voice on.
No, he's grumbling inside.
He's in there grumbling. I know he is. But anyway, so guys, we got so much to talk about. I don't even really know where to start, except I guess what are our thoughts here on the idea that pro-gun people see guns a certain way, and anti-gun people see them another way. John, do you have a question?
I had a revelation today about this, actually.
Go ahead.
Shut the hell up.
One of our
I just take a tall glass of shut the hell up.
normal,
Thank you, fellas.
one of my normal social media detractors, I guess. I don't know. He's just a contrarian he's one of these guys where you make a general statement for discussion and he comes online and says, this one thing about what you said is not always true. Therefore, your whole argument is shot. So shut up, you idiot, basically. But he posted some observations about suicides among military people, and how they use guns more than anything else. So I was thinking about that, and during a conversation with another friend of mine on the way up here, I thought that there's so many people that look at the whole issue from a perspective of correlation rather than causation. Like you said, they think because there's guns here, that's going to make people do bad things, because people that do bad things sometimes use guns.
Right.
So it's a really confused, shallow view of how, and it makes it really hard to argue with that because they're convinced of a simple thing. Well, there you go. And it's not ever simple like that.
The thing that I always say with that, and we're going to talk more about Australia, about other stuff with Australia, but with this particular thing was they had two major gun bans in Australia, and they did it under the guise of stopping suicides, right? So it didn't, though. The suicide rate was on a slight trajectory downhill before that, and it just stayed on that same exact trajectory. The banning of the guns didn't do anything.
Well, somebody doesn't choose to commit suicide because they have a gun.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, if somebody wants to commit suicide and they don't have a gun, do they just not? Geez, I wanted to today. Well,
actually,
I wanted to, do that today, but I don't have a gun, so I guess I'll go. I don't know.
Go back home.
Go back home, watch TV.
Right.
Yeah, what can I do? The anti-gun folks like to think of guns as offensive tools. Well, we see them as defensive tools because we don't want to use them on people. We don't want to harm people. We want to let people live their lives and do whatever they do and leave us alone. They are the people that, like you said, they want to use these, and they're projecting that the only reason that people have guns are to shoot people or commit suicide or commit robberies or all this other sort of stuff. But
statistically, that's just so untrue, though, right? It's not accurate at all.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
But how do you make that argument to people that, for some reason, seem unwilling to even look at that data like it's meaningful in some way?
Right. So I went to a Christmas party recently, and it was with my friend's company. They invited me to come participate, and I used his office to teach a gun safety class, so a licensing course for somebody. And I was doing it during the week while the ladies were in the office. And one of the ladies, she's a great gal, she's very smart, freaked out. And she's like, I'm not anti-gun, I'm not comfortable with them. I'm like, okay. And she said she's gone shooting, she doesn't really enjoy it. But I had to go back into her office and say, I just want you to know, I don't have any live ammunition in here. Like, I have these dummy rounds that we use. We're not going to, we keep the guns pointed in this direction of the building. We're not going to point them towards where you are. And she's like, I get it. It just freaks me out. And I'm like, if it freaks you out that guns are here and you know that I carry one, you know that if I wanted to do harm to you, I have plenty of other tools at my disposal, but I'm not a person that wants to harm you or anyone else, but I have no intention of doing that to you. I don't know why you see it that way.
And that points to what he was just talking about, is that so many people are convinced that we're just bad people. And because that gun is there, we're going to do bad things. And the gun is going to make me do, it's just, it makes no sense. I mean, I wish I could explain it better to people, but I have a problem because they seem to be missing the basic logic that's needed to understand anything.
It has a lot to do with just the narrative, the mindset, the conditioning that they've gone through.
There's a viral clip, and I think it's only viral because the argument that was being made is so ridiculous. And I think SAF reposted this on their Instagram page. So if you check out the Second Amendment Foundation, and there's somebody making the case saying, well, if guns don't kill people and people kill people, then bread don't make sandwiches, people make sandwiches. It's like, well, what are you trying to make our point? Because bread doesn't make sandwiches. I mean, granted, like if you've had a good sandwich from Brooklyn, the bread makes a difference. But they say, hey, that bread makes the sandwich, but that's hyperbole. Right. You know, a person has to make the sandwich.
It's a different word term for make. Like
Exactly.
It right?
And you don't need the bread. You could use a pita, or you could use a wrap, or you could use a whole bunch of other things.
I think the Earl of Sandwich, if he was going to weigh in on this, would be like, yes,
Did I
that's
say
still
pita?
a sandwich as well. Yes, that's the non bread. That is the non bread. You know, yeah, sure, why not?
What, you never had a pita?
I have.
What the hell's wrong with you? Anthony, what's wrong with him?
We should have a pita party.
I think Anthony was taking PETA as PETA rather than PITA.
Not Peter.
Well, Beatles show up.
I
when you
just
cook
read a
your
great
steak.
article on that pita the other day. I have to remember what that was about. That was really
But
enlightening.
I mean, to John's point, yeah, okay. So you got several different tools you can use for violence. We all know that. If one tool is not there, then the bad
Find
guys will use something else.
Like really, it's one of our friends. One of our friends was talking about someone a few years ago, and someone I don't think I knew him. I don't know if anyone else did. I don't remember who it was, and it's irrelevant. But there was somebody in the gun community that took his own life using a firearm, and she's like, for all the stuff that we've done, how could you do this? Like, how could you do it with a gun? Right? Because there are plenty of other ways that you can do this. You could overdose. You could drive off a bridge. You could, plenty of other things you could do to kill yourself.
Well, I think it was at Massachusetts when they introduced their red flag law, the firearm suicide rate went down a little bit, but then the hanging suicide rate went up, like a lot. Like so, it's like
well, that's why you got to look at the overall suicide.
I think it was
rate.
at Massachusetts. Was it Massachusetts?
Probably.
I can't remember. I could hear Jim in the back of my head, the executive director of Goal, talking about this. So somebody fact check me and then email Charlie and get back to me.
Well, put it this way: in reality, it's a lot easier to go on the internet and look up how to hang yourself than it is to go through the process of getting a legal gun in order to shoot yourself.
I mean, if you have to go on the internet to learn how to hang yourself, there's a problem.
I had
that's
two
not
friends
right.
that did it, and it was not. It was.
It's like
I
blaming
was
the car
confused
for
watching, but
It's like blaming a car for drunk driving.
Yeah,
you go out and kill somebody. We don't blame the car. But the gun's always blamed.
Right. And it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing with alcohol. People want to go after, Budweiser and Jack Daniels for drunk driving. It's not their fault, which leads to some other topics about people. People have to be responsible for their actions, whether it's drinking and driving or suicide, or even these stores that have, what is it in San Francisco? You can steal up to $950 worth of stuff.
Right,
yeah.
So they put everything behind the everything in cabinets, so you can't get to it.
And then people who live in that city are complaining that they can't get everything's behind glass. This is what you created.
I bought spray paint 2 days ago. Get a girl, press the buzzer in the store, wait for somebody to show up with the right card to unlock to buy a $2.75 can of spray paint.
They were definitely profiling you, though. You were there for silver spray paint, weren't you?
No, it was black, actually, which is a whole other stuff.
I thought he was a sniffer.
You know what I like to do when I go to stores and they have everything locked up? I like to stand there and watch them fidget with the keys, and then I say,
I don't need it.
if you have a hairpin, I can pop the lock.
Wow.
And then watch
Well,
them
now
freak
they have
out.
cards. They have. This girl had just a card with a strip on it, and it opened up all the stuff in the paint department and the hardware department. So she was the hardware girl.
Let me get to one of our sponsors real quick because we got a ton of stuff to get to. You want to know who's fighting for your gun rights? Gun Owners of America. Now, GOA is the No Compromise Gun Rights Group, so I urge you to become a member at gunowners.org. Well, what have they done? Well, GOA secured preliminary injunction against the ATF pistol brace rule, and GOA members submitted a record 85,000 plus comments opposing the ATF's universal registration check rule. They helped enact permitless carry in Nebraska and Florida, and GOA secured victories in California, Illinois, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Plus, they won 2 legal victories against the ATF's zero tolerance policy, and GOA fought to overturn Joe Biden's ban on funding hunter education, shooting sports, and archery in schools. So with the constant attacks on our Second Amendment, we often ask ourselves, what can I do about it? Well, this is what you can do. You can become a member at gunowners.org and help us save the Second Amendment. All right. So go ahead. Anybody, anything else on that topic that we want to hit? Because I wanted to get.
I guess my deal is this: if these people just let people be, right? If they didn't project onto people, then it's not going to be an issue. And if we're pro gun folks and we carry and everything. If we went around and preached about it the way that they preach about, you shouldn't have guns, they would be livid. They would be pissed. It's very much like what Trump just did with the Rob Reiner situation, where he should have just said, you know what, great filmmaker, it's too bad. Yeah. But he goes on a little bit, and then all of a sudden, and Tim Walz too. Oh my God, you can't call him retarded. No, but you can call us a homophobic, misogynist, Hitler, racist, murderers. But we call you retarded, and that's the least offensive thing of all of them.
Yeah, it's the least offensive. Plus, the fact that you might be retarded is going to make you do something really stupid. Where the fact that you think I'm a Nazi doesn't make me do anything.
Right.
It's very causation. Again, it's all this stuff where I hear so much about division and dividing the country, and I'm like, you're the one that's being divided. I'm not dividing you. I don't care what you do. Right? We don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
You tell him, John. Up to my stomach.
Watching a lot of Trailer Park Boys lately.
Here we
Scott
go.
Chappelli. Anyway, binge watching will kill you.
Well, God, I actually
But
had
you
a
can't
thought
beat
and
him
it's
up because
gone.
he
I
get
have
elder.
no idea.
If I beat him up, I get elder abuse.
I could put a Dana mask on. You could body slam me. Wow.
Well, that Somalian Ilan Omar has said the quiet part out loud. So
Here we go.
We talk about this. The thing that really aggravates the heck out of me is that this woman, she comes into the country. I guess she came in under her father or something, and then she marries her brother.
So she really came in under her brother.
So she was under her brother.
Thank you very much.
At least we know she was under her brother. But
sure you tip your waitress.
And she wants to. She thinks she knows what's best for you, Charlie Cook, you, John Petrolino. We need your guns to be registered so we can have a list, so we know where your guns are. That's basically what she's saying. We have a short little video clip, and then we can talk about it. Go ahead.
We have more guns in this country than we have humans. So one of the things that's going to be important is to create a registry. So we know where the guns are. We can know when they go into the wrong hands, when they're stolen. And we can actually start a buyback program. I know that some of the Minnesota legislators have had that legislation, and that's something that we should be thinking about on a federal level.
So
Did anybody understand anything she just said?
Well, she feels entitled to know where your guns are.
She said she's coming for our guns. That's what she said.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Smack that. I'm going to say it. That's racist.
Well,
wow.
Then there's the
It's
red
true what they say about you, Anthony.
I'm going to be nice.
On many levels.
But then they want the national red flag law as well. So you got the registry, which is your list of guns, where they're located, your home address, and all that stuff, and then the national red flag law, which would just give them the authority to come in and take them.
Evan Knappen from New Jersey boils this down very well into a tincture, and he says legislation leads to registration, registration leads to confiscation, and confiscation leads to extermination. And that's what every regime that tried to actually pull real totalitarian rule did, and people that want to sit here and say that Donald Trump's a dictator, he's a this and he's a that. And look, I'm not, giving an opinion one way or another on this, but I'll just say this much. This administration that we have has made moves to enhance the Second Amendment rights of the citizens in this country. Whereas, can you think of any presidency that has done these kind of moves to return freedoms? I haven't seen any. And we could say, everyone's arguing about, is it the most pro-Second Amendment administration we've had, most pro-Second Amendment attorney general? We can argue about those things until the sun comes up. But the fact is, they really are. the most pro Second
compared to
Amendment.
the others, right?
Well, I
Yes.
mean, honestly, up until what 40 or 50 years ago, it wasn't an issue.
Right.
Like nobody's like Theodore Roosevelt is pro-gun, but FDR is anti-gun. Well, it was never an issue because everybody had guns, everybody went hunting, everybody had a shotgun and a bolt-action rifle, and everyone harvested food. It was not an issue.
Except, let me throw one little wrinkle into that argument. 1934, Roosevelt signed into law the National Firearms Act, which actually was the registry. And now, and I agree with John, what you said, but there's a but here. Bondi they haven't been friendly to the registry portion of that. They still are supporting that gun registry. Yeah, they got rid of the tax, the $200 NFA tax, but they're still, although Trump does good stuff, like he's pushing for national concealed carry reciprocity, they're still wishy-washy on the registry of the short barrels and stuff like that. What do you?
I mean, find me one that's better. That's my answer to that.
Yeah,
find me one that's better. If you could find me one that's better, I'll concede. That's all, because we've been dealing with nothing but straight up hostile.
Yeah.
The only other relatively pro liberty stuff that we've gotten was it the Protection of Lawful Arms Act, right?
Protection of
Right.
Lawful Commerce.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
PLCs.
But that was W, right? Was that W who signed that?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was.
so-
early 2000s.
But what other pro-gun anything? Cite me one.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of the
No,
problem.
you're right.
Isn't a lot of the problem here is that like things like marijuana, that there's federal law and state law, and often they don't see eye to eye, and there's all kinds of conflicts. Like you were saying, you drive to Florida from New York State, and you don't know where you are from state to state as far as where you can keep your firearm, how it's got to be secured, all this other stuff. It's the same way with, it would be much easier if there was a national consistency with all this stuff. That's got to be horribly confusing.
Well, there was one thing I wanted to talk about later, but since you brought it up, there is United States Supreme Court added another significant Second Amendment dispute to its 25-26 calendar. The court granted cert in United States versus Himani. We talked, Johnny and I talked about this, a case that could shape the legal landscape for millions of Americans who use marijuana and own firearms. Court is expected to hear oral arguments early 2026, and I think they're going to hopefully have an answer on this in the summer, like in July. Basically says you shouldn't have to lose your Second Amendment right because you use pot. People use alcohol, gun owners. So what's next? If that is the case, right, and you smoke pot and you lost your gun rights, well, what's next? Is it alcohol next? It would be a logical thing. Or you were caught drinking.
Well, there's actually a couple of layers to this onion. So tying it back to our last topic, Donald Trump just signed an executive order trying to get marijuana declassified to Schedule 3.
Yeah.
So it'll remove some of the issues, not all of the issues that we have with marijuana and gun ownership, but it'll actually, I think, push it forward, and that's going to help just across the board with issues, because you go down that road about marijuana arrests and things like that, there's a desperate impact and, who's being affected by these things and who's not. Now, the case that you're citing, I don't think it's a crisp case, right? What was the circumstances, the possession? Do you remember the details here?
He was a regular user, and he has ties to terrorist organizations. He went to a funeral of somebody in, I don't know, Syria or something like this. So he's got, and his mother came out and said that she hopes most people hope their kids go to college, get an education, live a happy life. She wants her kids to die as a martyr.
And to your point, Dan, the DOJ could have championed other marijuana-related cases to go to the high court, but the DOJ did petition to say, hey, we want you to take this one, which is kind of sussy. And that's no different than how Rahimi was not a crisp case.
Exactly. Why would they use that case? because they knew that Rahimi was not the best candidate.
But the same DOJ is suing Los Angeles. They're suing who else? They just launched another lawsuit against another jurisdiction on permitting issues. So it seems the atmosphere right now is, if it's a state restriction, the DOJ and the administration's happy to go after it. But if it's a federal one, they've been defending most of the federal stuff. And I think this also has a lot to do with like the CASA case. You know, that's limiting the injunctive relief that we're able to get on, you know, if you're applying for injunctive relief on a preliminary injunction, so that there's not wide sweeping. And that's because all of these other things are being stopped by the courts that, you know, the executive branch is trying to do. We're getting caught in that melee. This is a war on so many other things, and we're kind of like the children that are stuck in the middle of it because, well, how can you say you're for this, but now you're doing that too? No different than, you know, the post office. And you and I have talked about the post office stuff, trying to limit the post office case. And I don't know if you're aware of the lawsuit was out of Texas. There was, and it went all the way up to the circuit court, where they said that the organizational plaintiffs in the case, which they were Second Amendment Foundation and Firearms Policy Coalition, are the organizations. Their members, now talk to a lawyer, don't listen to me, you know, they're able to carry firearms on certain post offices. So that prohibition's been lifted, and there hasn't been much, you know, summary on that, you know, but the government did say we want to limit this to organizational plaintiffs at the time of the filing, or organizational plaintiffs that are named. So there are games, but I think this is a much larger issue, and I think it has to do mostly with immigration. I think it has to do with other issues that the administration is fighting, because if they give here, then they're going to be stuck giving over there, right? That's just my view on it.
Just goes to show how complicated all this stuff is.
And it's all linked. It's all linked.
Yeah.
And these court cases will go on sometimes forever. And they get kicked back and forth from higher courts down to lower courts. And it's just, the Bruin case started in 2015, and we didn't get an answer at
22,
7 years.
Yeah.
And then what does Hochul do? What does Anthony's girl Hochul do? 8 days after that decision,
She already had that written up.
she comes out with a whole new package of
She already had that filed.
What was the name of that thing that she filed?
The CCIA,
the Concealed Carry Improvement Act, like
Right.
CCIA. Oh my gosh! But I mean, as far as these gun laws, I wanted to get to Australia too, because Australia's been in the news.
Mate.
It's important we talk about it. I mean, I don't even know where to really start with this, except to say that Australia, this Bondi Beach killing attack, if those people, if anybody was able to have a gun, this could have been stopped, or it wouldn't have happened in the first place. So,
Well, that's always the case, right?
yeah, exactly. But the gun laws in Australia are so strict, and then they just use this case as another excuse to add even more gun laws.
So where did the guy get the gun from?
Exactly.
I'm not
The
up with
laws are so strict. Where do you get them?
yeah, where do you get it? Well, he
crazy
bought it.
person who
what
wants
were
to
they
shoot
using?
people can get a
Were they
gun, but
using
nobody else can
shotguns?
have a gun.
It was
The
a
guy on the
bolt-action
guy on the
rifle.
bridge had a bolt action rifle, and it looked like the other guy on the ground that got stopped by a guy without a gun.
Right.
It looked like he had a pump action shotgun with a long magazine. Like the magazine on the bottom was longer than
And
the
he's
barrel.
trying to accurately shoot people with that
Yeah.
thing. He's like, I
Like
saw a
long
video
distances.
of a guy like maybe 20 or 30 yards away, and he's missing them the whole time. He's
Yeah,
boom, the guy's like,
I saw that video too. I can't believe the guy's not running around. So you know that there's somebody shooting at you. You can see them, and you're not hightailing it out of there.
there were more. Listen, I'm going to say this one time to anyone. If you're videotaping yourself being shot at, you're a moron. Like, did you see the videos of people that they're making videos? They're trying to see where the people. I'm like, is this
Hide
where we're
behind a
at
rock.
as a society? Are you this stupid?
Yeah,
The last thing I want to do is video my death, number one. But they're like,
That's so
yeah,
weird.
it's insane. It's insane. And the I haven't had this discussion with anybody, but the man that the hero that attacked the guy, like he picked up the shotgun, pointed it at him. I wasn't sure if he was didn't know how to work the shotgun, because that's one thing I heard. And then I heard one that said, you know, he shouldn't be taking the law into his hands. And I'm like, he's already seen people shoot people. Now he's going to shoot a defenseless man who just do you know what I mean? And this guy had plenty of time. I guess it was a father and son, right? And I think the father. I'm assuming the father was on the with the bolt action rifle on the bridge.
The bolt action. Yep.
Yeah, and the kid, the son, you know, he's full grown adult, went right back to where the father was. You know, I think one of them ended up getting shot.
Heck.
Yeah, the father's dead.
Okay,
they both got shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they killed the father. I think.
I'm not sure what the status is on the son, but the father's dead.
Well, you can get him. You can.
They said they were he was a legal gun owner and he had 6 firearms. Now, so that must meant he was a legal gun owner in Australia.
Okay.
So, but everybody else, was there any other guns? I mean, obviously,
Apparently
you can't.
not.
Obviously, Australia's laws don't legally allow you to have a gun there on the beach.
In your bathing suit.
What's that?
In your bathing suit.
Well, you'd be surprised in America how many people have handguns in their shoes
I
on
might
the
be
beach.
surprised. I agree. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Anthony, you have to put it in the in the front part, not the back part.
Yeah, they did all the way up in the toe and nobody will find it.
It's under the taint with the barrel facing the other way.
There we go. There we go.
Just to talk a little bit about some of Australia's gun restrictions, semi-automatic rimfire rifles. They got a wide range of firearms prohibited. Fully automatic firearms, machine guns, the so-called assault rifles, all sorts of basically. Even I think they even talk about bolt action, pump action shotguns are restricted. Magazine capacity greater than 5 rounds. This is another thing that really annoys me. It's like they don't want the good guys to have more than 5 rounds.
And then you got a guy like that with a giant magazine.
Right.
on it.
Well, I think the son was walking around. He had like one of these competitor belts with it was essentially a bandolero, like you'd see
Rambo.
the Frito Bandito wearing, right? Like he had a competition belt with like, you know, shotgun shells on top of each other. And if you watch the competitive shooters, they just pick those things up and slide them right in. And he had one of those on his belt.
So here's the thing. Do the lefties, when they watch CNN and they learn all this information, CNN, MSNBC, do they for a minute say, the gun laws didn't work to stop these bad guys, so
We should add more.
right. Do they ever stop to look at it like rationally and logically?
They still think that criminals obey the law, I guess.
Well, like the magazine capacity restriction, if they know that there's a 5-round limit, and it's obvious that, like Charlie's saying, the guy had his freaking
he had looked like he had a pouch on as well. Like when you go to the shotgun range and you catch your clays, he had one of those big black pouches, the canvas pouch where you put your shells in.
I had 30,
Right?
40, 50 rounds on him at least, right?
Of course.
The guy at the carnival handing you quarters.
Yeah, exactly.
But do the anti-gun supporters ever look at this and go,
No.
it doesn't work. These laws don't work.
Well, I think they might, even if they do look at it, I think it's like a lot of things. That's not going to change their mind on the overall concept that they have about guns. Like, oh, well, that's that situation. That doesn't mean that this person should have a gun just because this thing happened. And that's part of the education problem, right? Is making them see the reality of it's the seconds that matter. Let's call the cops. Really?
That's another thing. That's another
What's that going to take? 10, 15, 20 minutes? You going to be okay
Well, they
with
said
that?
the cops didn't even go in, did they? They took them.
Yeah, there were 2. I saw 2 pictures. I mean, again, this is you see it on the internet.
Yeah, nothing on the internet's real anymore.
There were 2 police officers that had their arms up, and they weren't had their arms up in the surrender position.
Well, there's a great article in News 2A. Our friends of ours over at News 2A, Sean and Grant, got a great publication. Check out News 2A. But a great article called Why Teachers Should Be Armed, Lessons from First 30 Seconds by a guy that we know named Charlie Cook.
I know that guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
He's handsome.
I do know him. I'm quite familiar with him.
so tell us about the quick response versus and the cops and the
So this past a year or so, I've had 3 opportunities to interview Ed Monk. Ed Monk is a 24 years Army veteran, became a teacher, when he retired from the military, he became a teacher, got a teaching job in Kentucky. And on the first day, when the teachers get together, they said, all right, well, here's what we're going to do if there's a shooting. Everybody's going to close their doors and hide over here in the corner. And he was like, well, that doesn't seem right because I spent the last 24 years, you put everyone together, you can shoot everybody. The best thing to do is disperse. So he got into this and he looked into it. He studied all of the mass shootings at churches and schools and everything else. And he's determined that if the principals, if we're going on schools, if the principal just wants to have single-digit victims, they have to respond within 30 seconds. There's no way you're going to have 0 victims if a shooting starts, right? Somebody's going to get shot. Maybe they're not going to die, but somebody's going to get shot. If you want it to be 0 to 9 people, you have to, or 1 to 9 people, you have to respond within 30 seconds. And of course, and this is, I feel ridiculous telling my non-gun friends this. The longer it takes, the more people get shot. But he's done the science behind it and said, hey, if it's a minute to 30 seconds, it's single digits. If it's 30 seconds to a minute, it's 10 to 12 people. If it's this many more people, and then when it gets down to 7 or 8 minutes, then the numbers start to go down. Yeah. Right. And the deal is there's in his book, he points out that there are a number of other things that you can do besides have a gun, if you don't want to have a gun. A lot of times the victims in these mass shootings end up dying because they have, I want to say, non-life-threatening gunshot wounds, but they're non-life-threatening gunshot wounds if somebody was able to perform some trauma care on them. Oh. And the police don't go, the medics don't go in until the police have cleared everything out. So now you're looking at 20 minutes, 30 minutes until everything is done before the medics go in. And that gives somebody that has a gunshot wound that might not be,
they could bleed out.
They're gonna bleed out by the time the medics get there. He also talks about doing things like, instead of having the science wing and the English wing, he's like, have the red wing and have the blue wing of the school and have the red corridor and the yellow corridor, because the cops aren't going to know. Oh, go to the science wing. Oh, right. What's the science? What's the science wing? I got to go in and see if they got a lab in there and they got beakers and all sorts of stuff, And he says you should. A lot of times the shooting happens in big areas like the cafeteria. So that's where they end up starting. He's like, well, we have this plan if everyone's in their classroom, and he's like, that's really cool. Most of the shootings happen in the cafeteria. What do you do then? And he's like, well, we don't have a plan for that. He's like, well, this is what you need to come up with. So it's a great book. It's called First 30 Seconds. It's awesome. It's great.
And a lot of these attacks, the cops, it takes them sometimes 6, 10, 15 minutes to get there.
If they're there quick. Yeah. I tell people when I teach classes, I say, listen, the police response time is like 14 or 15 minutes. Yeah. That's listening to Stairway to Heaven twice.
Yeah.
Right? That's how long it is. You think Stairway to Heaven's long? Listen to it twice, and that's when the cops show up.
While bullets are flying.
Right. And how long do you want someone going through a school and shooting people? How long do you want someone raping your wife before he slices her throat, before the police get there?
I always like the 3-second rule. A 3-second rule would be a teacher right there.
Yeah.
Or a security guard right outside the door. Armed security. 3 seconds, and even 3 seconds is a long time. You can get a few rounds out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the idea of the teacher at the head of the class being armed and capable of using the firearm.
Right. And so one of the things he likes to point out, and one of the arguments he has, or he's got a whole chapter of myths. One of them is that teachers can't handle guns. And I never thought of this, but he's like, you want to tell me somebody that has a master's degree in education can't figure out how to work a semi-automatic handgun? Right. And I've told people, I said, listen, Because, the argument is, well, what if a group of high school boys goes in and overpowers the teacher? Well, then maybe the teacher wants a gun. But we're not worried about high school age boys going in and taking the teacher's purse and getting her car keys and going for a joyride. That's not a thing to worry about. Right. So it's more, again, it goes back to people's behaviors, right? So if the teacher is trained, if they have a carry permit, if they've done some training with the police officers, if they've done something like Faster Saves Lives, and gone and got some training where they teach you how to shoot, they run you through a bunch of different scenarios, they teach you how to do some trauma first aid and some emergency trauma first aid. And then I did the class a few years ago. We ended up going into a school in Ohio, and the instructor had a .22 revolver that fired blanks, and he would fire a couple rounds inside the school. And there was one person that had a gun, that was the teacher, and then there was a guy that had, he looked like a catcher in a baseball game. He's got a mask and a chest plate on, and he's got a gun, and the guns fire out rubber balls. They run off of CO2, and he's not supposed to shoot at the teacher until the teacher shoots at him. So everybody gets to be the teacher. And then after everybody runs through one scenario, we go back and have some after action reports and say, okay, what was good, what was bad? And then you sit there because you're one of the students and your turn's coming. So you say, okay, well, when I get up there, I'm going to do it this way, and here's how I'm going to handle this. And then when you get to do this, it's a whole new scenario. So you've got everything planned out. You're going to do it perfectly. And they're like, oh yeah, we're not just doing that. So not only do you have to shoot the bad guy, we're not going to respond to anything after that. So now you're going to have to deal with, there's people that are laying on the ground that have red handkerchiefs on them, and they're like, all right, this person's been shot. What do you do now? Yeah. And you're like, we're supposed to call the police now and tell them there's been a shooting and so on and so forth. So it's getting the teachers. I understand teachers don't want to do this. There are plenty of teachers in free America that shoot and carry, and they should be able to carry at school. I remember when I first started to carry, I had some friends that would say, well, you're in a school, and I would be comfortable with you carrying in a school. And I'm like, there's more people at Walmart. When I go to Walmart, and it's a bigger area, and the bullets are going to travel further if I miss somebody involved in a shooting at Walmart. This is ridiculous that teachers can't carry. They pass background checks, and of course the other arguments are, well, what if the teacher loses their cool? Well, I don't know. If your kid doesn't come in when the teacher says come in, is it the teacher's fault or is it your kid's fault? And maybe you should teach your kids to have some better behavior and respect authority, right?
Well, that argument right there is, what if the teacher loses their cool? It goes back again to what we were talking about earlier, the projection thing. The anti-gunner is projecting onto the teacher, saying that the teacher's going to shoot the kid if they lose their cool.
Right.
When would that ever happen except in the mind of the anti-gunner? They're the ones thinking it. They're saying, well, what if the teacher loses their cool? What if? Well, they're going to shoot the kid. They going to shoot the kids?
You don't think the teacher can pick up a chair and hit him over the head with a chair?
Well, it's just the arguments that come from the political left are so ridiculous, and it's so annoying that they can run this narrative with these silly arguments.
Yeah, it's completely nuts. Yeah, it's a great book. It's a quick, easy read. He's got it geared for older people, so it's easier to read, if you know what I mean. So it's a great book, and he teaches classes and does seminars all around the country.
Yep.
So
let's take a quick break. We're going to come right back right after this. We'll be right back.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR, empower yourself, and defend your civil rights.
Our founding fathers saw them coming over 200 years away. That's why they wrote the Second Amendment. Join us in the fight to preserve your gun rights and stop unconstitutional gun control. Gun Owners of America is the country's only no-compromise gun rights organization. Not only do we inform and educate, but we bring the fight to court and win. Your God-given right to keep and bear arms is our top priority. Become a member today and help us take back America. Join us at gunowners.org. Right. Jesus. All right, we're back.
Carrier pigeon.
I don't have his email
Carrier
address.
pigeons.
The stuff, if people only knew the stuff that happens during the commercial break.
Could be a morning dog.
It's evolved. Well, it was.
We're trying to
forget
get a
that.
message to the producer, and we're talking about everything from.
Hey, Danny, don't be mad. Don't be mad, buddy.
Everybody thinks Danny's mad today. He says he's yelling. He's yelling from the control room.
See, he's yelling. He's mad. Obviously.
He's really upset, people.
Oh boy! If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have this. We wouldn't be able to do this. He's doing a good job. We got to give him a little credit. Anyway, so I guess back to this whole idea: you're disarming citizens, and you see the results of that. It's an attack. People die. If you take this thing in basic terms and you look at the situation without any political bias, you'd go, why are these people disarmed over here? And why have you idiots not figured out that that's the problem? Aside from radical Islam as well, which is another whole issue we could talk about. But arm the people so they can shoot back and you won't have these killings.
All you got to do is let them be armed. It's not like you have to go out and recruit people, right? I mean, there's tons of people out there that could be doing the job in those situations if you let them do it.
How smart were our founding fathers when they wrote the Second Amendment? How?
Very smart.
Some of them were pretty young, like early 20s, right? Their brain's not fully formed. But maybe it was because they lived less. You know what I mean? Their lives were shorter back then.
I mean, you take it back to the projection, and it's something that we talk about. You look at the progressive disarmament mentality. We don't want anybody to have guns. That's their mentality. And if you have the pro-liberty, we're okay. Arm yourself. You're responsible for your own protection. You're responsible for self-defense. Those people aren't projecting you need to be armed. You need to be armed. You need to be armed. Right. It's like if you want to be armed, you be armed. You are responsible for yourself. And I think if you look at almost every single topic, it doesn't matter what topic it is, it's an all or nothing thing. And it's pick one, right? And we're going to punish everyone because, there's bad actors out there. So, if we didn't have this law in place, then those kids might get in trouble at home if their parents knew what they were doing, and then they would get beat, and that's a problem. Well, is it against the law for them to get beat in the first place? Yes, it is. So what are we doing here? We're making laws on top of laws. And that projection mentality that we were talking about earlier, it's rampant with that, I guess the more we mentality versus the me mentality.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with saying, I want to protect me.
Right.
Right.
We should have that option to do so.
Well, that should be first.
You would think.
Otherwise, what are you doing after that?
Because so then we got to ask ourselves, so why? What is their goal? Why does the political left want
To tell you what to do.
everybody exactly? Why do they want everybody unarmed and defenseless?
So you can't do anything about it.
You can't do anything, right? So it's always and they know it's their political opposition. Now think about this: if the political left were the gun owners, and the narrative was switched, what would they would have a completely different mindset because they know that as a matter of fact, some Democrats now, there are a lot of Democrats who own guns, which is another concept that I don't understand. How can you support that party if you actually want to protect your gun rights?
Because Hillary will kill him.
But just the idea that they want their political opposition disarmed at all costs. I mean, they're willing to go to extremes. I mean, you got Ilhan Omar talking about gun registries, And you got Moms Demand Action, which I'm going to be putting an article out on this shortly. Moms Demand Action is pushing now for gun safe, safes in the home requirements. Keep your guns locked up in your home type stuff. And the only way to enforce that is to go into your home,
right? Break the Fourth Amendment and go in and have search and seize your house.
Have searches and inspections.
Before we get too far, I want to bring something up. In 2020, I had one of my colleagues reach out to me, and very liberal Democrat reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to take one of your classes to get my license." I'm like, "Cool, that's great." He's like, "How do you feel about that?" I said, "Are you paying in cash or are you using Venmo?" Like I don't have any strong feelings either way. Cash is good. Let's do that. He's like, "Well, we don't agree on things politically." I'm like, "So what?" And he's like, "Well, you're not afraid that I'm going to shoot you?" I'm like, "No, I'm not afraid."
Oh, my God.
I said, but if I think you're a threat to me and you're going to shoot me, I'll shoot you right back. Like, that's my game plan.
Isn't that interesting that
Right?
he'd say that?
Like, why would I think that you're going to shoot me just because you have a gun?
Because that's what he thinks.
Exactly.
projection.
It's total.
That's projection.
Say we have the same constitutional rights, dummy.
Yeah.
Why?
It's yeah, and
I'm like, what's wrong with you?
right.
That's,
It's I had one of the guys I used to play in a band with we had this discussion about background checks and universal background checks. So I said, if I've got a gun license and I got a friend that has a gun license, I should be able to sell him the gun or transfer it to him and let him borrow it, whatever. He's like, "Oh, you should do a background check on him." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, what if he committed a crime?" He's got a gun license that says he doesn't commit crimes. Well, he could have. If he would have committed a crime, they would have taken his gun license and confiscated his guns. And then he's a little Jamaican dude, right? So I said, "So how long have you been in the country?" And he's like, "Well, I've been here for 25 years. I'm like, "When did you go through a background check?" He's like, "I haven't been through a background check." I'm like, "I don't know that you're not a criminal." He's, "Well, I've had the same job for, why would I need a background check?" I'm like, "For your job." He's like, I've been with the same job for 25 years. I've never had to do a background check. I'm like, "But then you could be a criminal because you haven't passed any." I go through one for my school jobs. I go one through my Mass license, for my Utah license, for all this stuff that I have. I got to go through background checks. You haven't been through any. You could very well be a criminal, and I just don't know it. And then we hung up and haven't talked.
Wow. That relationship went out the window, didn't it?
Right up
Gone.
Done.
Just for pointing out the reality of the situation,
Yeah.
right? And that's all. But that speaks volumes, though, about how some people don't even think about why they think the way they do, and they just go along with whatever. The consensus thing is brutal.
I know.
It's brutal.
So,
Go ahead, Charlie, real quick, because we got to take a break.
Getting right back into the thing we were just talking about is the only way they're going to know if you have your guns properly secured is if they come into your house.
Right.
And if it leads to, this is one of the things that came up in Massachusetts a couple of years ago. They're like, "Hey, if they give us if they can't have the gun registration, then they can do it by saying, well, in order to secure your guns, you have to have one of those big Liberty safes. No, maybe not Liberty safes, but these are what I can think of, right? You have to have one of those big metal safes that's fireproof and, $3,000 and weighs 600 pounds. That's the only way you can keep your gun safe." And then it would become an insurance thing. And now the insurance company can come in and say, "Hey, listen, if we're going to insure your guns, we have to know what guns you have."
Exactly.
And then they can give all that information right to the government.
Exactly. That's just another way to get into your house. That whole safe storage crap. But we got to we're going to end part 1 right now. We're going to stick around for part 2. This is going to be an extended version of the show today. So Charlie Cook, John Petrolino, thank you for being here. Stick around for part 2 of our Christmas special. I'm Dan Wass, and this is The Loaded Mic. We're rolling. All right, we're back. We're back. All right. So during
Anthony
during the break,
Anthony was feeling a
the
kinship.
studio
for a while
started
there,
to
and then-
erupt. The studio started to erupt in an anger toward Jelly Roll, and I don't even know what's going on. So I'm just going to leave it to Charlie because he's fired up about
I
this.
am
Go.
so fired up. So
Dun,
I have God bless Jelly Roll for the way he's turned his life around. Got it. Great. He was a drug dealer. He went to prison for a long time. He's got all those 96 prison tats that he's got there. Big as a house, right? Big as a house.
Whoa.
No,
Pump
he
the
makes,
brakes, buddy. Pump the
if he
brakes.
if he was on the couch,
The
with
casting
us,
couch over here
if
is
he was
not
on the
looking
couch
kind
with
to,
us,
to my
they'd need-
physique.
they wouldn't
I'm
need
just saying.
plywood underneath this. They'd need two by
There's
fours.
plywood. Yes, they had to put
2x4s
wood.
for Jelly Roll.
All right,
So my
anyhow.
deal with Jelly Roll is this: I don't really care for his music. God bless him. He became successful and famous and rich and all this stuff. This week he got in. Oh, so there's two things. Oh,
There's
you want
multiple
to talk about
things.
You want to talk about Jelly Roll for another reason? I got another reason. So, Jelly Roll, he can't. Now we can get into the gun stuff. He can't possess guns,
That's
and
what I was
he got his
talking
license.
about.
Right. That's not what I'm talking about. I am livid that Jelly Roll was inducted into the Grand Ole Opry recently.
He's only been around for a year.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Charlie Daniels started gigging in the 1950s. He didn't get inducted, I think, until 2007. He spent 50 years on the road, writing tunes, getting awards, played for presidents, been on Air Force One, the whole thing. Charlie Daniels influenced everybody forever. He played with Bob Dylan on the Nashville Skyline stuff. He's Charlie fucking Daniels. And it took him 50 years to get into the Grand Ole
And it
Opry.
took pork roll 1 year. Wow.
In this case,
Or
I'll
it's
be
like the Rock and Roll
okay
Hall of
with you
Fame.
calling him Taylor Ham. All right.
Rock and Roll Hall. Listen, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke.
It's
It's a joke.
It is.
That's
It
a
is.
joke.
It is. And Ted Nugent's not inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's influenced everybody too.
But the
it's
White
just 'cause it's
Stripes are.
politics. The White Stripes.
Well, they
Nobody
held
does.
off for decades to put Kiss in there. They hated
Right,
Kiss.
they hated
Oh, there
Kiss.
you got to bring up the kiss.
So-
Always got to bring
Oh,
Kiss
no,
up.
no,
No, but
Kiss.
there's a story,
Stupid
Charlie.
dudes
Talk
will
about
make a bond.
the kiss move. The kiss move.
So, yeah.
I'm not asking you to do a kiss move on me. I'm saying the kiss move.
Do it.
So
Do it.
I absolutely love. I don't know if you guys have seen this video, but there's video of them. I think it was 1996 when they got the old guys back together. They put the costumes on. I absolutely love this. They went to I think it was the Grammys. They went to the Grammys. They weren't invited. They weren't announced. They
Wasn't
weren't
it
anything.
Tupac who introduced him or
Tupac
something?
introduced him, and what it was Kiss just came in the back door and walked in as if they owned the place,
Yeah.
and nobody wanted to introduce them. So Tupac's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I've seen everything. This is unbelievable, and I love it when Gene comes out because you can tell the aura that he's given. He's like, this is what it's all about. This is rock and roll.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
it's
they
awesome.
should have been inducted into the Hall of Fame like I
Years
said,
ago.
Years ago. But I guess it's I don't know who runs that thing, but it's not by the people.
Oh, of course.
And so they Paul Stanley always said they feel like they're being indicted actually, but they're doing it for the fans. They didn't want to do it anyway at that point anyway. So it was almost at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at that point. They had to induct them,
Yeah.
or they would start to look foolish.
Oh, totally.
I mean, what
Totally.
bigger rock band do you have than Kiss?
None.
I mean,
And this is what I love too about Kiss, right? Is every time, it doesn't matter what concert you go to, there's fire, there's loud music, there's pyro, there's everything. You go to Metallica, you go to anybody, you go to concerts, country shows, you go to rap shows, it's all the same. Everyone's got this, and no one was doing this before Kiss.
yeah. Oh, I know.
Other than that, I have no strong feelings.
But hey,
So back to
The
Jelly
White
Roll,
Stripes got
Charlie.
in.
Oh, what happened with Jelly Roll? So I don't even know.
here we go.
Why
What do
is
we got?
Charlie so pissed off at Jelly Roll?
So here, I'm just pissed off because he got into the Grand Ole Opry. The other stuff I think is probably a good thing, right?
All right,
So
what
if
else is-
Jelly, if you're watching the show, I certainly don't mean any offense, but
Jelly. Did he just call him Jelly?
Well, all right, Mr. Roll.
Mr. Roll. Sorry,
Mr.
I
Roll.
apologize.
Roll.
Mr. Roll.
So he lost his gun rights because he's a felon, because he was a drug dealer and a drug addict for decades. But he now, part of getting back into a better way of life is he's been eating better, he's been losing weight, and these are all great things. I'm not taking that from him at all. But he started, Joe Rogan's got him into archery. And so he wants to, he's got into to bow hunting, and he wants to get into hunting with a rifle. And I think this week, the governor of Tennessee, Bill Lee, what's the right word for it, John?
He's got the full clemency
There we
pardon,
are,
whatever.
clemency. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's
he
got
can
the full
he
pardon
can
or
now
whatever.
get a gun license and
But
go.
the thing is, didn't he actually do like really, really bad things?
Well, you're not collecting for the Red Cross when they send you to jail.
I'm just saying, when you look at the burden of who should and shouldn't have their rights returned, and I've got a bright line on this. If you've been, paid your debt to society, you're out of prison, you should be fully patriated with all of your rights.
Yeah, I agree with
There's
that.
very few people that shouldn't, right? I think the list of people who shouldn't is much smaller, right? So,
Well, if you're not in prison, if you're safe enough for the court system, the legal system to have you out in public, then you should be able to have all your rights. I mean, what are they afraid of? Problem is, they're letting criminals back out into the
right.
streets.
There needs to be a better mechanism, at least, for that repatriation. So, but if you look at the stuff that Jelly Roll's done, like, I don't think he was a choir boy, obviously. So there's so many other people that have gotten hung up in these, like, let's say, white collar crimes and everything. We have a Supreme Court case, don't we? Aren't they eventually going to be looking at this nonviolent felon scenario with gun rights? Like, they're going to have to look at that. These are active cases right now that are going on. People that wrote bad checks, this, that, the other thing. So they get to struggle to try to get their rights back. They've been leading good lives. But Mr. Roll, who's just famous, is now able to get that full pardon and clemency and whatever. And that's kind of where I have an issue, because there's so many other people that should just have their rights returned to them by an edict.
Right. And if these people aren't safe enough to be, if they're safe enough to be in society, then let them have their rights back. If they're not, then let's keep them locked up.
So let's just hope Jelly Roll doesn't go out and do anything stupid now that he's pardoned.
Or listen to the show,
Right?
because she's going to come after Charlie.
Great.
Freedom of speech. Don't worry about that.
My last name is PETROLINO.
Oh, get out of here. It's Taylor Ham. He's not pork roll.
It's PORK-ROLL. Pork roll.
He's
Talking
English.
about
Put
Mr.
an E
Pork
on the
Roll.
end.
All right. Let me get to one of our sponsors real quick here. The Cali Key. Now, this device, the Cali Key, removes your AR from the definition of so-called assault weapon. Did you know that when so-called assault weapon ban lists are created, they exclude manually operated bolt-action firearms? So just by dropping the Cali Key into your direct impingement AR in place of your semi-automatic BCG, you'll have a bolt-action rifle. Falls outside of the definition of an assault weapon. You don't need to do anything else. So give the Cali Key a look, because with it, you could retain all your rifle's features, avoid registration complications, revive your black rifle sales as an FFL, regain the ability to do private party transfers, legally transport across hostile jurisdictions, hunt with your AR in areas like Pennsylvania, and enhance long-range precision and quieter suppressed shooting. Cali Key has state-specific expert attorney opinions on its website and supports grassroots Second Amendment organizations with its sales. Cali Key's mission is to empower customers and claw back our civil liberties. So go to CaliKey.com and use the discount code LOADED. All right. So are we off Jelly Roll?
Yes,
I've
calmed down. Everything will be cool.
Like a 20-minute rant.
Has Charlie settled down?
There's so many beeps in there. He's not even going to understand what he was saying.
We should mention Charlie and I are going to SHOT Show this year, 2026 SHOT Show. It's at the Venetian Expo, Caesars Forum in Las Vegas. We will be there. The rest of these bums aren't going.
Are you bringing the wife?
No.
So you're going to ride on a plane by yourself? You're going to be scared?
Is that a projection? Would you be?
Would I be? I would.
That's why these guys aren't going.
Scared.
Just piles in the aisles.
Piles in
in the
Go ahead, tell the pile who had the pile in the
Anthony
aisle
did.
story. Go ahead. Last time we went to SHOT Show, the pile in the aisle.
They got up to get off the plane, and the old guy was trying to push his way through.
Oh, she was the stewardess was saying sit down. Right?
Sit down, and
He was like, if you want to pile in the aisle, you're going to let me go in the bathroom. I would have loved to see him drop trow and take a dump in the aisle, but
that would have been good.
I mean,
Yeah, that would have been, yeah.
But SHOT Show, just so everybody knows, who anybody watching the show would probably already know, it's the biggest national firearm and gun rights expo, right? How would you describe it?
It's everything. It's not just guns and ammunition and shooting. It's hunting and outdoors. So if you're if you have boats, if you have motors for boats, if you're fishing stuff, if you have, what else? Anything that's revolved around hunting, if you have camouflage, if you have hunter orange, if you have hats, if you have trail cameras, anything that's got to do with fishing. So again, rods and reels and boats and trollers, anything that's related to outdoors is going to be there. And it's people want to, I remember hearing about the SHOT Show and thinking, oh my God, it's got to be the coolest thing ever. And I'm not saying it's not, it is, but you can't buy anything. You can't walk home with anything. It's more for people to connect, companies to connect with other companies and businesses and gun stores to make deals with, people that sell products and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you know what I'm looking forward to? I want to check out the new line of handguns. So there's going to be a lot of new handguns out. And I'm also interested to check out the new Glock.
The Glock 6.
I thought it was a Glock V.
That was so last week,
that was
man.
That was so November.
That was so last week.
So
There's
the
a
Glock
6.
Okay, so tell me about the 6. What?
It comes after the V.
Okay.
No.
Right. I'll tell you how stupid I am when they said the Glock V. I'm like, they've already got a Glock 5. What's going on with this?
He's got Roman numerals over there, right?
Yeah, no, they actually.
Well, they discontinued what? How many? 20 to 30 different models?
Everything except for like the 43 and the 43X, right?
Yep.
Everything except the small single stack, super thin, small, very concealable handguns. They said they were discontinuing everything. Then they came out with the V, and everyone hated them because the V was supposed to be so you can't put up a Glock switch and turn it into a machine gun and all that sort of nonsense.
But we don't really know because then the 6 Glock never confirmed that they weren't trying to allow the V to not be converted easily, right? So I'm not really. I would love to get the whole story about how this all came about, but the V came out and it got out there, like it got into people's hands. I don't know. They might even be selling it now.
The news was leaked, I think, by Glock Store in Nashville.
Right.
And it was in late October, and they said in November 1st is when they're switching over and only selling Glock Vs. So you have a 17V and 19V,
So that hit the shelves, and then shortly after that, you've got somebody would design their own Glock switch that they put on there, and they went full auto with the Glock V, and everybody's like, oh, see, they were trying to do this, and they were trying to bend the knee to California.
Yeah.
And I don't really know. Like, who knows why the V came out. But then, like, shortly thereafter that, the Glock 6 announcements came out. And the Glock 6, those are coming out on January 20th, I believe, on SHOT Show. Tuesday. Or at SHOT Show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that's the Glock 6. And then a bunch of our friends and colleagues got to go out there. I know Robin Sandoval went out.
Was there,
and they were all under embargo, and they all got to get their hands on and shoot and do content.
Wow.
And actually get with the Glock 6. They didn't do that with the V. It was very weird. So, like, I don't know what kind of marketing juju that they're doing, or what the whole impetus was of the V and then the 6, or eventually I'd like to know what the story was, but we don't know. But there's the V and now there's the 6.
Wow. Well, there's also a new Staccato that I want to check out. It looked really cool. I can't remember the name of it, the model, but I mean, there's so many cool handguns coming out now this year. I saw some reviews on them, and so if people want to check this stuff out, I mean, and the floor at the expo floor at SHOT Show is, what did they say, 16 miles long?
It's unbelievable.
If you walk every aisle?
Yeah, it's something. I mean, I've heard people say the stats. It's something crazy. Like, if you went to every booth and stayed there for 7 seconds a booth, you still wouldn't catch everything, because they have the main floor, they have a basement floor. I think they have 2 other floors.
Yeah.
There's the main floor, then there's the law enforcement floor, and then there's another section where they have stuff.
And then Caesars.
Across the hall, across the street, they have the Caesars Forum, which is, it's not as big, but it's still got a ton of stuff.
Wow.
Well, Charlie, you and I are going to have a blast. I don't know about these clowns.
Are you guys staying together?
Same hotel. Yeah.
So you're going to have a room all to yourself?
Connecting doors.
Of course.
You know what they say?
I don't know
What happens in Vegas?
Days in Vegas.
Well, I snore, so I don't want to.
What's the first thing I was thinking of? It's all good.
So anyway, so that's it. January 20th through 23rd at the Venetian Expo, Caesars Forum. in Las Vegas. Get yourself set up to go to the SHOT Show. It's going to be great. Charlie and I are going to be out there. We're going to be interviewing people, and we're going to be doing interviews ourselves, talking about Second Amendment issues, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, as it always is, right?
It always is,
and we can always get in trouble. There's always
it's all day. Like people, the tiring thing is when people say they want to go to SHOT, and you get there on whatever Monday or Tuesday when it kicks off, and then by Wednesday night you're just dragging tail.
Yeah,
like you're on the go. You're walking 10 to 12 miles every day. You're indoors. You're getting the oxygen piped in all the time. I legit have had nightmares where I've been out and nightmares about me being at Vegas and getting lost and not being able to find my way out of a casino.
What's also coming up, and Charlie and I are going to it, is the Great American Outdoors Show. That's February, I think, was it 7th is when it is?
Yeah, it's like 9 or 10 days long.
9 days straight, and that's in Pennsylvania. And so those of you who are not, industry side, so SHOT Show, you have to be in the industry or media to really get in there. And again, you're not able to buy stuff, but shows like the Great American Outdoors Show, that's open to the general public. You can get in there.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think all you have to be is an NRA member.
Or pay the ticket or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure.
Right. I think if you pay the ticket, you get an NRA membership. Yeah. So you got to be an NRA member. It's a lot of the same stuff. It's a lot of the same vendors, and it's 2 weeks after SHOT Show. But they're there for 9 days, which when you talk to the folks, it's a long time.
And you can buy stuff though.
Yeah, you can buy stuff.
So you go there
go.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Road
it.
trip.
I like to leave with something. Right?
Yeah.
Like a knife.
A knife.
So
Whatever.
So John, if you want to put up John Petrolino's little mug there, and let Danny get a picture of this. So John has a website called The Square Reviews, and last year we went and worked it a little bit. In Massachusetts, you can lawfully have out the front knives now. So he went and talked to some people, and he came, dragged me back there, and he's like, listen, I've got a website, thesquarereviews.com. I can't have these, but Charlie's one of my writers. If you set him up with a couple of out the front knives, we can write a review on those. So that was pretty cool. So I got to drive home with a couple of out the front knives.
Well, you're not the only The Square Reviews contributor that we have in the house as well.
I think
Mr. Producer Danny Wass Jr. has also been giving us content too. So thank you, Danny, for your contributions. He said you're welcome from the other room.
So the Great American Outdoor Shows, it's pretty cool, and it's they have demonstrations with dogs and horses and motorboats and all sorts of stuff. So it's really cool.
Dogs and horses and
Dogs and horses and motorboats.
What's Anthony pointing at?
Put those two on.
He was waiting for his suggestion to come up on the screen.
No, he has Santa peeking over petrol.
Nice.
Look at him. Look.
Nice. He's sniffing him. Yeah, that's good.
Joe Biden.
He's the sniffer.
Oh, good Lord, help me.
Good Lord.
All right. Trying to get serious.
Johnny P's been talking a lot about Jersey. Now,
Jersey.
It's important that somebody in this country, a writer, is talking about Jersey. And you got the market cornered on this. You just did an article not too long ago. New Jersey man's guns were returned after a lawsuit filed over confiscation. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure. And it's a very interesting, and it's complicated, but it's not complicated. What makes it complicated is the guy that got his guns confiscated, he got his guns confiscated because something dealing with his wife. It had nothing to do with him. So this is in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and his wife ended up in the hospital. It turns out it was pregnancy-related issues, but there was a language barrier. So English second language, not really communicating well. Anyhow, the people in the hospital ended up thinking that this woman was wrongly thought that she was in some sort of peril and involuntarily committed her to an institute. Yep. Okay? So the Fort Lee Police Department show up at this guy's house, and they're like, you need to give us your guns because your wife is been committed. And, you know, he doesn't want to create problems, so he doesn't really know to assert all of his rights, you know, 4th, 5th, 6th Amendment. Just remember that, people. 4, 5, 6, right? You can assert your rights. Ends up giving his firearms over, and now trying to fight to get his firearms back. She ends up coming out of the hospital. They figure out that it was kind of a misunderstanding. But now the prosecutor's office and the Fort Lee police in that area wanted him to get her medical records to show them that she's not a threat or an issue, which he's not a party to her medical records. That has nothing to do with it. So Second Amendment Foundation stepped up to the plate to help this guy out, and they sued Bergen County, the prosecutor, Fort Lee police. They went after everybody under the sun. And the lawsuit, it's the battle's not, the war isn't over, but there was a huge win in that the prosecutor's office sent over a letter saying, hey, we want to try to figure this out amicably. Let's try to settle this. And had the guy's firearms returned to him. So him and his attorney were able to go over there and get his firearms back. And what's unprecedented about this, and this is what some other people that, you know, might be looking at this and say, well, okay, he got his guns back. That's not that big of a deal. He got his guns back. He should have. There are people in New Jersey that have won lawsuits, court battles where jurisdictions and, you know, police departments are being ordered, you shall give these guns back, and they still play games for years. Yeah. So this concession, the fact that they folded, and it wasn't quickly, but they did fold and got him his firearms back. The guy was injured. He was out without his guns for maybe 6 months, and that's a problem. Definitely took advantage of him. They definitely took advantage of his more sensitive side, thinking, well, the authorities are here. They're telling me this is what I need to do. So that's a gigantic win for this man. And then now the rest of the battle is going to be him getting the rest of his relief, because, you know, he's owed. He's owed. Like, then they're going to get it from them.
And this is a guy named Aliage, I think his name was.
Yes.
And Bill Kirk and I had this conversation. He told me all about this case when he was on the show. Okay. And it's just such a violation of someone's rights because of someone else who's completely disconnected to the whole thing. So it's just amazing. So if people want to read your article, John, they can go to Bearing Arms, look for John Petrolino's author page, or search for the New Jersey man's guns returned after lawsuit article, and you can check out more of that stuff. But that was a great article. Good job.
Thank you.
What else we got? Anthony, what do we got? What do we get? John's got his...
got nothing.
Thank you, fellas.
Thanks, Bill. Good night.
Okay.
I do want something we can talk about here. Come on.
I was waiting.
Online.
I've been kind of waiting to talk about this because this is a pretty important. Let's talk about the Brown University killing, the attack, and the fact that, again, people are getting attacked in gun-free zones. And when are people going to learn? What are your thoughts on this?
Their thought is take your guns away and it won't happen again.
And it always happens in a gun-free zone. Makes no sense, right?
Without cameras.
That force field.
Without cameras.
That force field never works.
Somewhere, right?
1,200 cameras that aren't there.
Yeah.
1,200 cameras, none of them work.
1,200 cameras that don't work.
Right. They got them from the Epstein.
That's what I was going to say. They're the Epstein, Riker Island.
But they have $1 billion.
contract.
They have $1 billion just doing whatever. But the cameras don't work on campus.
And now they've just found the guy mysteriously dead in a storage locker, right? Or storage
unit up in New Hampshire. Yeah.
Just
the thing that I guess gets me worked up about this is some people talk about the 72-hour rule, and I'm surprised you didn't know about this, right? Because we talked about it yesterday. So the 72-hour rule is after an incident happens, nobody should talk about it for 72 hours. Well, unfortunately for us, if we abide by this, the rest of the media does not. They're going to get right on top of it.
Yeah.
And
Make up all sorts of nonsense and just
and be unbelievably wrong. So the first thing that came out was, so we get the shooter at Brown University, and it was a guy that we found a guy in Coventry, Rhode Island, who drove 1,100 miles from Wisconsin, and he had a revolver and a pistol with him, and he's the guy. They triangulated the phones, and he's the guy. And then they're like, oh, nope, he's not. We're going to let him go. We think it's this Mufasa character who is a pro-Palestinian, pro-LGBT
Wasn't
character.
that a character in Lion King?
Mufasa, yeah.
Mufasa.
Right.
What's the song?
And just can't wait to be king, right? So they have this guy, and for 3 or 4 days, this is the guy. They scrubbed all of his information from the Brown University website. Like, there's nothing about him, no social media posts, no social accounts. And then all of a sudden, they find a guy up in New Hampshire that's not a young guy, that's 47, 48 years old, and they know he's the one. Well, how do they know? They thought the first guy was the guy. Then they thought the second guy was the guy. And now all of a sudden, they found the person, and he's dead in a...
That's what I said. Conveniently dead in a storage unit somewhere.
Right.
I don't know. There's so much stuff. I don't know what I can believe anymore. It's frustrating.
It is. I'm with you. Like, you see the stuff, you see all this stuff, and you're like, this has got to be bunk. This has got to be bunk.
And then you get, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? Well, maybe, because the honesty of the media has just been in the toilet, and you see a lot of contradicting things. It's like,
we have a Cartesian crisis right now. We can't believe hardly anything that's going on. We're being lied to, and then you just throw AI into the mix.
Yeah.
That makes it even worse. I mean, John was talking about this earlier. What's the deal with the conspiracy theory?
What is the deal?
No, well,
What's the difference between conspiracy theory and reality is about 6 months, really. But now it's like you say, that with AI, I look at stuff on social media and I'm like, why should I even think that this is real?
yeah.
And then you get everybody that thinks it is real, and they start going down the rabbit holes, and they start drawing people into conversations, and we don't know what we're looking at anymore.
Right, and
we just don't know.
I've now become one of these guys. I'm like, what else is going on? What's the government doing they don't want people to know about?
Well, and then part of this whole strategy is that if you believe something, or you have a hypothesis about something that contradicts to what the major media outlets are saying, then you're a conspiracy theorist. And this idea of conspiracy theorist has been such a demonized thing that nobody wants to be called it. It's like being called a racist or something like that. And I think that's part of the strategy, just to keep people to shut up.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could have scientific theory. That's okay. But we can't have theory about what may or may not have happened. Like, and you're using scientific processes questioning. So if you're coming up with a theory about something and there's a conspiracy because you think more than one person might be involved, how is this a pejorative? So it's total smear campaign stuff. The term conspiracy theory itself was invented by the U.S. government. I think it was invented in response to the Kennedy assassination. I think that's where you started to see conspiracy theory come out. But we can't just talk about things and have possibilities. Is it possible that this might be what's going on? And to John's point, you go through social media, you're getting video, and like, how many times, like, I got to tell people, just stop sending me AI generated content. And then now I'm getting people saying, well, I didn't know that was AI generated. How do you not know that that's a woman riding a pig down the highway? That's AI generated. Like, why do you think that that's a real video?
Anthony, you got to send that to me. I got to check it out.
I didn't say that.
No, that wasn't that video.
Woman riding
His
a pig
OnlyFans
down the
page.
Anyway, so the AI stuff. Keep going, bud.
No, I just think that we are dealing with a crisis of epic proportions right now today and forget it 6 months from now, because everything's fun and games. The Sasquatch videos are great, and the video logs, and that's a lot of fun and whatever, but this is already being abused. It's already being abused, and we just don't know it. And that's no different than the Operation Mockingbird. Go and look up the Operation Mockingbird. What is it? The threat to democracy that was going on through, what was it, Sinclair Media?
Oh, Sinclair Media, yeah.
So how's that anything different? There's a narrative that's out there, and we're being sold that narrative.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so there's a cut-up reel, and we probably should talk about this stuff in advance of the show so we could play these reels, but there's a cut-up reel. If you look up Operation Mockingbird, threat to democracy, and it's showing these pundits and they're showing news personalities, and they're all saying the exact same thing over and over and over and over and again. And this is a threat to our democracy. This is a narrative goes out from wherever, from the ether, and then it gets pushed out to the soldiers, and the soldiers, they're just paid hands, and they just go with it. They read the script and they move on. And how much of our news and media is being dictated to us, like that today? And I'm going to proffer to say a lot.
Yeah.
But that's going to make me a conspiracy theorist, right? Because I'm entertaining this idea.
Well, and Charlie, I know you want to say something. Let me just jump in real quick. That's the when you see Candace Owens being totally demonized.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is she crazy or not? I don't know. But I mean, let her say what she needs to say, and at least, but everyone's
they
calling
did it
her
with Alex Jones too.
Alex Jones,
let's find him $1 billion because he said something.
What
the heck is that?
Candace Owens is always, as far as I can tell, she's always been pretty.
We'll find out.
We'll find out, I guess. We'll see what happens. But
it's all churning the accounts, right? Somebody's making money every time somebody looks at something.
Somebody's got to be.
It's just
How come
crazy.
it's not us?
Not
That's what I want to know. We need Anthony to
well, we don't have.
make some AI
We don't all have Anthony money.
Yeah. Say it, John.
$1,000 budget.
Cut the frame. All right.
Slumlord.
Charlie, you were going to say something
I
else.
totally forgot what I was going to say.
Well, how dare you?
I know, right?
But
Get him, Santa.
I don't know. I just think that as far as media goes, we have to do so much better to keep our media accountable. Well, go ahead.
No, keep going.
Well, John and I were talking about writing because we both write. All three of us write, and it's so important to be able to have the outlets to write so people can get this news, the Second Amendment news and stuff. And then when AI generated stuff gets produced, it kind of muddies the waters and makes a mess. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what's actually written by a human being or what. So, anyway, what are we doing? We going to break? We're going to break. Real quick, we'll be right back with a lot more from these guys.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR, empower yourself, and defend your civil rights.
Our founding fathers saw them coming over 200 years away. That's why they wrote the Second Amendment. Join us in the fight to preserve your gun rights and stop unconstitutional gun control. Gun Owners of America is the country's only no-compromise gun rights organization. Not only do we inform and educate, but we bring the fight to court and win. Your God-given right to keep and bear arms is our top priority. Become a member today and help us take back America. Join us at gunowners.org. All right, so Charlie wanted to say something. Charlie was in the middle of saying something before we went to break. Again, we forgot. Okay,
let's get to let's roll the video. Let's talk about this because this is something we talked about in the first.
We
show.
talked about this earlier. John, bring us back.
So we're talking about the projection and the guns don't kill people.
That's
people
right.
kill people. And I was referencing the reel that Second Amendment Foundation had posted on their Instagram page. And Danny, why don't you play the reel for us if you've got it?
He getting paid.
People kill people.
Here it is.
Okay, in that case, bread doesn't make sandwiches, people make sandwiches. Cars don't drive people to work, people drive people to work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's it, right? So I don't know what kind of point that this individual was trying to
Well,
make.
she thought she was making a point about something. I don't know what
she
it was.
made our point, I guess.
She
Like,
was making a smart point.
she's making a smart point about how indeed the cars don't drive people to work. The people drive them to work, and the bread only makes the sandwich if you need quality bread, you know? I mean,
Well, this goes back to the same old thing we've been talking about for decades, is that the anti-gun crowd, they want so desperately to ban guns because they either hate them or they're scared of them. So they will always they'll always look at, like John said something like this earlier, they'll always look through the filter of the gun is the problem.
The gun is the cause of the problem. Right. Which makes, but they don't apply that to anything else in the whole world,
Right.
except for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just that. The car, they never say the car is a problem because they use cars. They need cars. They like their cars. So the car can't be the problem because we can't restrict those. But they don't like guns.
I always tell my car, listen, if you're going to go out and do some stuff, just make sure you come back. You know, park yourself back where you were. Right. Just like my gun when I put it in on my,
Give it a good
right next
talking
to my bed. I'm like, pal, just keep it easy.
Take it easy.
Watch out.
It's just this is the mentality, and this is what they this is one of their strategies. So do we continue to call them out on this? Has that ship sailed? Are they ever going to see this?
All right. Well, so this is parlays us right into the next thing that'd be great to talk about. So we can fight back. We should fight back. We should talk to these people. We should get our stories out there. We should talk about our points of view. And there's been something that we've been involved in the last few years that the Second Amendment Foundation helped us get started, which is called AMCON, which is the Alternative Mass Media Conference. And this year was probably the most successful one that we had. It was in Salt Lake City. It was the day before the Gun Rights Policy Conference. And John and I ended up on the board of people that helped organize this. And this year was a huge success. We had speakers like Amanda Suffolcool, Michelle Serino. We had, Jared Markle. Mark Smith came up and did a presentation, and we had this AI debate between Amanda Suffolcool and Cheryl Todd and Mark Walters and Lee Williams. And this one was really, it was I don't want to say it was the hardest one to put together, but it was hard to get everybody on board with it because Lee was like, I want nothing to do with this AI stuff because it's all bunk and it's not good. Mark Walters has been sued. Mark Walters is the first person to sue ChatGPT because ChatGPT came up with some story that Mark had embezzled like $5 or $7 million from the Second Amendment Foundation, and it's all bunk. It's all not true. So they were obviously the anti-AI side, and Amanda and Cheryl were like, hey, we're pro-AI. We can use it to help create reels and videos and go back and tweak wording on articles that we write and stuff. So it's AmCon's been great, and it's if you are interested in if you're in Second Amendment media, or if you want to be in Second Amendment media, if you're a blogger, a writer, a podcaster, a video person, we try to have a topic for everybody in each of these different fields, and you've done presentations there. I think John's biggest success is I think you talked about marketing one year.
Oh, God.
And John
you were talking about branding. Why don't you tell us about your branding marketing?
I'm on stage talking about how important it is to brand yourself or your product or your book or your whatever it is that you're promoting. So I'm up there talking about branding myself, And what do I have hanging
You
around?
have a decoding firearms lanyard and a decoding firearms lapel pin. All my branded stuff you were wearing.
So I'm branding Johnny P. The whole time I'm talking about how important it is to brand yourself. It was one of
And
those
you took
things.
the pin off and you didn't wear it the rest of the weekend after that. That's the
noticed.
thing.
He's in
Of course
protest.
I noticed. It's on your backpack, wherever your backpack is. I saw it.
Oh, you did? That's
Yeah,
right,
it's on your backpack. But yeah, I think AmCon and what's been nice about AmCon is we've been opening it up to more and more people to get involved. So even if you're interested in grassroots activism or just engaging with lawmakers or just trying to make a difference in the Second Amendment arena, these media tips and these, little workshops and these presentations are things that are kind of global that you can use in many different ways. And I don't know, what do you think about that,
Yeah,
Charlie?
no, absolutely. So if you're not sure how to do all this stuff, we kind of help you and say, hey, listen, here's what I've learned. Here's what works for me. Here's what other people do. I forgot the other presentation we had was from Tanner Lineberry from Second Amendment Foundation about how he went and rebranded Second Amendment Foundation. So it's a great place to learn how to do all this stuff so that you can put yourself out. And the presentation Michelle Serino did, she's like, hey, listen, if you're writing an article for a website, check your links, because she had someone send her an article and the link sent her to a porn website. So she's like, you need to check this out. And she's like, send them a completed article. Don't send them part of an article. Don't send them something that's not finished. Like, send them the finished product. Make sure you send them photos. Make sure you label the photos so they know what they're getting, instead of, image, whatever, 1, 2, 3 or something like this. And so it's a great place to pick up all these sorts of things so you can up your level of professionalism to
Well, and knowledge too. You learn so much. I mean, when the last time I was there, we were talking about everyone was talking about different things, and you learn so much. I forget one thing I learned. Somebody was talking about business plan or something like that, and there was some great points in there that I hadn't thought of. So even if you can walk away with a couple little tips, it's well worth it. So AmCon happens every year at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, right? It's kind of within. It's at the same conference center.
it's at the same place. It's the day before.
Okay,
So
technically, it's a separate.
it's a separate event.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it, I don't want to say more separate, but we're trying to, keep things a little separate between the two groups. But yeah, it's something that people need to register for, and we send them information, and we want to get their info to get them on the list. And we've sent out surveys to try to find out what other people are looking for, so when they come back next year. But it's the day before the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and it's in the same place.
Do we have a date yet and a
So
location?
we don't have a date yet. Usually it's, what is it, the 3rd?
It's usually the end of September.
The end of September is when GRPC is. I know they're shopping out a bunch of different locations. That information hasn't been released yet, but we wanted to bring up AmCon because, again, this is about combating the narrative, and it gives, everyone the opportunity out there that wants to do this. This is media. You want to do media, whether it's the written word, whether it's podcasting, whether it's radio. In 2025, there's no excuses that if you want to have a platform, that you shouldn't have one, because all it takes is a couple of clicks of the mouse button and you've got a platform. Now it's your job to go and generate an audience, and it's your job to do it ethically, and it's
do something good with it. Make sure
Right.
you're providing a good content. as well.
Exactly. But if you're interested in doing this, all you have to do is get out there and do it. And AmCon is a perfect place to go and get those tips and tricks, and also meet with people like Charlie, like Dan, where you can learn from them and network as well. So we also have a Facebook group going that we've got for registrants. So if you do register and participate, like, you can come into that group, and that's another area where you can exchange with people. So we're trying to build that up and build that audience out too.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's really good, because we want to make sure that we're out doing the things that we're talking about and teaching people.
And you guys are on the committee. You're running you're part, along with our good friends Amanda
Cheryl Todd. This year we had a couple people from Second Amendment Foundation. We had Matt Coffey and Tanner Lineberry, and Lee Williams and Yehuda Reamer were also part of that. So what ended up happening this year is they said, hey, we need someone to step up and to lead this, and everybody froze. And I itched my nose, and they're like, "Okay, Charlie, you're the guy."
Charlie, the chair of the committee. So Charlie's the chairman of our committee, and he's in charge. So if it tanks, we'll just blame it on
Blame
him.
it on Charlie. My goal for this year was to make sure that we made it through the year and it was successful. I want to make sure we keep doing this because I think this is a great opportunity to reach out to people and get more people involved. But I wanted to make sure that it didn't fail on my watch. That's all.
Well, I'd love to be involved again. So keep
Well,
me in
as
mind.
soon as we have more information, Dan, we're going to get it to you guys so we could get it out to your audience as well. We're working on a URL. It's not active yet, but it's going to be amm-con.org. It's not live yet, but it's going to be, and that's going to be a redirect to our landing
think we can get
page.
these guys out there?
I think
this time?
they should be out there.
Where
I
is
feel
it?
like they should be
We don't know
coming.
where it's going to be yet. But
Yeah, it travels all around the country. So it's the same place as Gun Rights Policy Conference. This year it was in Salt Lake City. Last year was in San Diego. The year before it was in Phoenix. It's been in Dallas. It's been in Chicago.
I went to Phoenix, Chicago. I went to one of them twice. Was it Phoenix?
Probably Phoenix.
Phoenix
Yeah.
twice.
I have friends in all those places.
There you
Yeah,
go.
no, it's great. It's
You got
great.
some place you can stay for free.
Well, I don't know about that, but
Just some, wow,
What?
some whores, you know.
don't be a ho ho ho.
She's got hoes in different areas.
And you were worried about me.
Anthony's playing in the band and he's
I've
projecting
got
all this
hoes.
stuff on
It
him.
goes
got
right back to
hoes
projecting what people are doing.
Different area codes.
Thank you, fellas.
We're going to be wrapping up soon. I want to do a quick little year in review. What were some of the most important things you saw? Some of the things in the news and the media that really stood out to you that you thought were important you want to just talk about? Anything that really stands out?
Trump getting shot in the ear.
Trump gets shot in the eyes.
Charlie Kirk got murdered.
Big deals. Yep.
Terrible stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Allegedly got murdered.
Alleged.
I know in the Second Amendment world, we were chasing a lot of different things. We're chasing the NFA stuff, the taxation and the registry of firearms. We're trying to see that stuff, go away. We're trying to, get a concealed carry reciprocity bill, national bill passed. And there's a lot of other stuff, I'd ultimately like to see constitutional carry where there's no need for a permit at all. Like our founding fathers would have wanted. But why don't we start with Charlie? Let's start with Charlie. What kind of give us a year in review of the important stuff for you this past year?
Well, the important stuff for me this year is first, this is really cool. My daughter graduated college, so that was really cool.
Awesome.
And that gave me the opportunity. There we go. Hey, girl. That gave me the opportunity before her graduation. I went down to the NRA annual meetings in Atlanta.
Okay.
And the NRA did something new this year. They had this thing that they called the Voices of the Second Amendment. And I was able to be one of the people that had a booth, and I got to share a booth for 3 hours. So I got to do interviews with people for 3 hours, and it's just audio interviews. And some people are people I've had on the show. Some people were new people. And that was really cool. And that gave me, since I was down in Atlanta, I went and did some shows in Memphis. Then I went and did some shows in Mississippi. And then I went and did a show with the guitar player from 3 Doors Down in Hendersonville, Tennessee, which was really cool. So that was pretty amazing. I've got to keep the show going, which I think is a great thing. And having AmCon be a success this year was kind of a big deal too. So I'm happy about that. And Jelly Roll, if you want to be on the show, please email me at writingshotgunwithcharlie@gmail.com. I'll be happy to have you on the show. Come down to Nashville.
And we say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're not a nice person.
Okay, so John, your turn.
Yeah, I had a couple of beats that I was following this year. So last year we talked about the racial bias in New Jersey's permit to carry process. I'm pleased to announce that this year they have released legislation or introduced legislation in New Jersey to actually track these things and force the Attorney General to come up with a report based on that. Now, that legislation hasn't gone anywhere yet, but that was a bill that was introduced that was directly linked to research that I did. So that was kind of cool. One of the other beats that I've been following was I got a news tip about somebody trying to find out if a family member could carry pepper spray at Montclair University. Montclair is one of the state universities. So I end up going down a rabbit hole, finding out that only Rutgers University is the only state university in New Jersey that allows people to carry pepper spray. Montclair, ironically about it, and it was interacting with their
That's
leadership.
so infuriating. I'm sorry to interrupt you, John.
Go right ahead.
So infuriating that kids can't protect themselves on college campus. Pepper spray is not deadly.
No.
But they literally don't want you to be able to defend yourself. It's just so awful. God, sorry about that.
Yeah, so part of that whole thing was trying to suss out whether the university banned pepper spray, and after many, many mitigated series of correspondence back and forth, it's basically like, well, no, you're not allowed to have pepper spray because it's against their weapons policy. Then I get another news tip from a student at the university, sends me a photograph of them selling Sabre brand pepper spray in the school store at the university. And when I wrote in for comment on that, they said that was a mistake, and then they removed it from the shelves and they stopped selling pepper spray. So that's my fault, by the way. So if you can't buy pepper spray at Montclair University anymore, that's my fault. But the point is, they ban it, they don't allow it. So that was one beat that I followed this year. And the other one is New Jersey's got something cool going on with the permit to carry fees, and local jurisdictions are now passing resolutions where they refund $150 of the $200 permitting fee. And this is an initiative that's a grassroots initiative that's been brought on by the New Jersey Firearms Owners Syndicate, the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, where I serve as a board member, and also the NRA ILA. And it's a joint effort. And we've got 13 jurisdictions that are now refunding permit to carry fees.
That's a big deal
to the citizens.
That's a big deal. You did a fantastic job on that. That's great.
Yep. So that's what we got going on in my world.
All right. Well, let's go around the table. Any final Christmas words, Christmas wishes, and final words as we head out for.
Be kind, everybody.
Be kind, everybody. John, what's your message to the people?
Don't light a fire in your fireplace.
John, and where can they find you guys too? John, go ahead.
You can find me at thepenpatriot.com. I want to have news tips from you guys, so you can email me, john@thepenpatriot.com.
Riding Shotgun with Charlie on Facebook, on YouTube, and podcast, all your favorite podcast outlets. You can also check out News 2A. You can check out Armed Lifestyle Magazine, and you can find the show on AmmoLand.
Okay, excellent. And as John says, don't light a fire in your fireplace.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Anyway,
And we say
thank
bye-bye.
you for
God bless
Hold
us,
on.
everyone.
thank you so much for watching the Loaded Mic on Rumble, YouTube, wherever you're watching us. Also checking us out on all our podcast apps. You can also find the Loaded Mic on the Spreely Network at Spreely.com. And my name is Dan Wass, and remember, the Second Amendment is not a privilege; it's your right.